What is the worst thing you have found on someone else's phone? Had a client showing me a picture of a haircut they wanted. I was hovering behind him as he was flipping through pictures, and the next one to the haircut ended up being what I assume was him, but his asshole wide open and googly eyes on his cheeks, bent over like the autocock meme. This was the day I learned never look at the phone until the customer has their picture up and ready. That my best friend's recently deceased husband had been cheating on her with men their entire relationship. She was standing over my shoulder reading, as we made the discovery together. I was 15. Found messages on my mother's phone about her failed suicide attempts and how she never wanted her kids to know about them. Didn't speak a word about what I saw, internalized the fear. She successfully took her life less than a year later. My ex-wife's iTunes on her iPhone was actually my account that I set up for my iPad. She was just too lazy to set up a new account. So I told her if she did that her iMessages would come through to my iPad. She said she didn't care until she started cheating on me and I got the texts directly to my iPad. My now ex-husband dressing in my lingerie to send to other men. That one was a bit of a shock. I found out my wife is dying, after I read messages exchanged between her and her sister. I guess she was too afraid to tell me just yet. I waited till she wanted to tell me on her own before I told her that I had seen the messages and had already known. I used to work with a chick who took her husband's phone to work by mistake. While showing a bunch of people photos of her kids, she stumbled across a nature folder and clicked it. The folder was full of CP. I watched as the blood drained out of her face and she became visibly pale and then sick. She threw up. I've never seen someone's emotions/skin color change up so quick. It scared the shit out of me. I remember hearing her scream cry while talking to the cops. When her husband arrived with her phone, they slapped the cuffs on him and he confessed on the spot. An app that allowed a married man to control a vibrator my GF was wearing while around me. Emails of my ex trying to meet women from Craigslist for sex. My dad died about a year and a half ago in a car accident. I went through his phone after he passed and he had taken pictures of the bay near where he grew up the morning of his accident, and he had a half-written text message to me making plans to see me for Christmas. It's not like those things are shocking or awful in the way CP or whatever is, but it's shocking and awful in a way that it's a view into a life cut short. It was 2 days before Christmas and he was reminiscing about his childhood and planning with his children, and it all just ended in the blink of an eye. It guts me every time I think about it. I had just finished having sex with my GF at the time. Literally, right after finishing she turns over and sends a text, then got up to go to the bathroom. The person responded with, "So you finished up with him, when is he leaving?" It was the dude she was cheating on me with. A picture of my sex toy up his butt sent to another girl. Not me, but a bartender friend of mine found a phone unlocked on the bar and couldn't locate its owner, so he punched in his own phone number and found out he was already in the contacts as Creepy J. Not a phone. But I used to work IT for a mid-sized corporation. An executive handed me his computer once to fix some issue and had left open a spreadsheet with every employee's pay. A rough way to find out I was the lowest paid person in the company. But good motivation to move on. My nudes that I did not send to them. I'm a dental hygienist. A long-term patient of mine wanted to show me pictures of his fiance's new puppy. Instead, he showed me 2 dick pics. Videos of my then husband descending into madness. He had gotten a traumatic brain injury, after which he took loads of videos of him going crazy. Last one, he was covered in vomit arguing with his reflection and had no idea it was him. 100% do not suggest watching someone you love like that. Trauma. A relative bought a second-hand phone online and I was tasked with fixing it as it still had photos on. They had videos and photos which included terrorist material. It was still linked to the old owner's Google Drive. We called the police and they said it was extremely serious, took the phone and never heard anything else. Found a video on my boyfriend's phone in high school of him and his friends stomping a litter of raccoons one by one, making the others roll in the gore. It was one of the most wicked things I've seen someone do. Promptly broke up after that. I was a personal assistant to an older gay man who ran a fancy event planning company. He was technologically challenged, so he eventually asked me to manage his emails, calls, schedule, etc. One day he asked me to help him with his personal laptop because it has a bunch of viruses, or something. His computer was 90% porn. His search terms and videos of choice were old young gay sex stuff, and he was basically searching my physical description plus gay sex into porn sites. I was weirded out but kept working for him until he passed away. He may have been a weirdo, but he was a good boss, and in the end I considered him a good friend. Everyone has weird kinks in my opinion, and he was never inappropriate with me, so I didn't see it as a deal breaker. Hanging out with a work friend after work. We would have a couple beers at this restaurant and he would scroll Tinder and I would help him decide on which way to swipe. Until we saw my wife, now ex-wife. That was not a great time. I was manager of a wireless store when camera phones were still fairly new. Guy comes in for a replacement phone and we were showing him how to save photos to a card so he could transfer to the new phone. Early days, pre-cloud. Some of the pictures were quite graphic and were not his wife, whom I had also met. I found child porn on my ex's phone. I promptly dumped him and called the police. Turns out he was also sexually abusing and making child porn of his two younger prepubescent sisters. Really goes to show how you think you know someone but you never truly do. My old best friend, a video of him shagging my mom whilst my dad was videoing it and wanking himself off. Safe to say I don't speak to any of these three anymore. When I was a teen I found pictures and videos of my dad's girlfriend nude. I couldn't help but look through them, but hearing her say, F***ck me like a little girl, daddy, really messed with my mind for a long time. My friend had his own picture as his wallpaper. I was disgusted. I work in a psych hospital. I had a patient who came in under a Baker Act, involuntary psych treatment, because her husband had killed himself. She said she wished she was dead too. He was her only family in all of the US and the rest of her family is in another country. Patients aren't allowed to have phones in the facility, so I offered to let her get numbers off her phone before she wouldn't be able to use it. She asked if I wanted to see her husband and I said yes. I thought it would have been a nice family photo. Instead she showed me his dead body. He committed suicide by firearm and he was very clearly dead. The motion detected notification on my husband's phone that alerted me to the hidden webcam he used to watch me when I masturbated and he wasn't home. To be clear, without my knowledge/consent/permission. My house got robbed and I was sitting with the cops while they were taking my statement. I was about to show them pics of some of the damage I took before they got there when a guy I was dating texted me dick pics at the exact same time I was unlocking my phone, so I showed two police officers the guy's dick. My cousin found out her boyfriend, who she was living with, had been cheating on her with multiple men for over a year. She saw a Grindr notification pop up and found his phone full of videos of him fucking dudes. Fuck you, Jerry. I know you're on Reddit and I hope you see this, you cum guzzling asshole. Back in the day when you could delete texts and they went to a deleted folder, had a bad feeling about my boyfriend I just moved in with, checked his deleted texts and sure enough, he sent a picture of our front door to his ex in case she had trouble finding our house.